Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's going to be a good one and a crazy one this week. Listen, it's Sean from OLE Red Show. You guys know what to do. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, get in the comments. Let me know where you are watching from. Man, guys, listen, they have labeled this weekend's match El Sackico or El Sacchio. I've seen it mentioned all kinds of different ways. Is this the final weekend in the reign of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for Manchester United, or the very brief stint of Nuno Espirito Santo at Tottenham Hotspur? Guys, listen, I don't know what you think. I don't want to be with you too long today. Just want to take a moment, share my thoughts about our clubs, what's going on, and maybe, have a little discussion about, what you guys think, what could happen this weekend, where are our clubs at the moment? Tottenham actually sits ahead of us in the table. We wouldn't have thought that just, recently. You would have never believed that because the way, Manchester United with our off season and our transfer window, we came into this season with great expectation. We thought, we were really going to challenge for a title. And here we are. It's not even Halloween yet. And any fan who's been paying attention to the results and how we've played football this season knows Manchester United at this point is not even in a title race. Our manager said we're going to be there or thereabouts come the spring. But right now, it's looking like we are completely out of the race. We sit about 7 points off top, and we haven't even played all of the top teams. Our form has been absolutely abysmal. I saw an interesting stat that said that if we were ending games in the 88th minute this season, Manchester United would only have 2 victories. Why? Because we've had quite a few smash and grabs. We've had quite a few results that really went our way in the grand scheme of the game. You literally are sitting there with blinders on if you think that because we've had some decent results that we've played well when we absolutely have not. I sat back yesterday and was thinking how well, how many games this season have we played well? And literally, I can only come up with 4 halves of football. The whole first game against Leeds, because, well, they're Leeds, and you know how we like to slap them around and how they play so open. They really fit into our hands, that first game of the season. And then I thought about that second half against Newcastle. Did we play well? I don't know, but we got goals, and we know that's what matters to most people is that we get goals. And that was the Ronaldo game. And then you had the first half against Everton. If I'm honest with you, I think the first half against Everton may have been some of the best football we've played all season. However, that game ended up 1-1. And ultimately, guys, we have been abysmal. The Wolves match, oh my goodness, lucky to come away with a win. 2 of our 3 Champions League matches, one we lose to Young Boys. The other 2, we are lucky to come away with wins where both of those games, the first halves, we were, utterly outplayed. And, people can say what they want about individual brilliance, but if you cannot see how our individual talent has caused us to get good results this season, then you're really just not paying attention. Do I think that this weekend is the end for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United? No. I don't care if we lose 7-0. I still don't think these guys have the bottle to sack him, because the truth is, we're run as a business, and footballing results is not the thing that gets the Glazers' attention or Ed's attention. Matter of fact, the game this weekend didn't even have their attention because they were out trying to buy a cricket club. And so they weren't even at our biggest match of the season so far because they were trying to expand their horizons and ruin another club. So if you're watching this and have anything to do with cricket, and especially any kind of top cricket club, do not sell. For the love of your fans, do not sell anything to those clowns, because they don't know about your game. They don't care about your game. All they care about is money, and they will ruin your club. They will rip the soul clean out of it. And this is the thing. This is my one of the things about Ole that I've always given him a little bit of slack, is that Ed Woodward has zero right to sack another manager. He really doesn't have a right. So I've always given Ollie a little bit of leeway there. However, Ollie, in my opinion, for you guys that know me, know I felt he should have been gone last season. Really, I was off of the Ollie's at the wheel train 2 seasons ago. But I mean, to be like all Ollie out, get him out, I haven't, went that direction. I mean, there was a few times last year that I did, no doubt, because it was embarrassing. And, this past Sunday was the lowest, but this was not the worst. Well, no, it was the absolute worst result now that I think about it. But it's not I should say it this way, it's not the only time we've been embarrassed under this management. It's really not. I mean, I could name tons of games, and we're not going to do that because I just want to focus on, the Spurs versus United match on the weekend. What do you guys think is going to happen during this match? Go ahead and get your comments in, whether you're over in the comment section or whether you're down in the comments below after the video because you're not here live. Who do you think wins? What do you think the score is going to be? I'll be honest with you. This game, from the fact that could Ollie have asked for a better opponent right now than Spurs? Because Spurs, by all accounts, and especially listening to some of their fans speak, they want Nuno out. They are not in good form as well. And by the way, you that like to throw shade at certain players, especially ones that dye their hair to match their national team color or my shirt, if said player from United acted any kind of close to how Harry Kane acted this summer to get out of Spurs, oh my days. You guys know the internet would have burnt to the ground. Harry Kane not only tried to play, listen, I'm going to use a term I love that I hear sometimes from you guys from the UK. You'll say this, Billy Big Bollocks. That cracks me up, right? Every time I hear that, Billy Big Bollocks. There's a few words that really get me. That's one of them. Harry Kane thought he was going to Billy Big Bollocks Sir Daniel Levy himself. It's not going to happen. Daniel Levy is a gangster. He's not playing. He's not playing. Hey, well, we had a gentleman's agreement. You had a gentleman's agreement with the devil. Daniel Levy will look at you in the face, smile, tell you one thing, and do something right behind your back. That's how Daniel Levy functions. You do not mess with Daniel Levy. The guy doesn't play. Harry Kane really thought. He really thought. You know what? It's like, some people are the big man until they get in the room with the bigger man. Harry Kane really thought he was the big man. He really tried to bully Daniel Levy. This guy really thought he was going to get what he wanted. Went over and been all snaky with Gary Neville, his little interview. Gary Neville, this guy, man, you don't even get me started on G Nev. Don't even get me started on this guy because a lot of the United legends who I've loved to no end. Matter of fact, the class of 92, those were the guys that really, when I came into this sport, they're the guys that really, I followed. They're the ones I was first playing on with FIFA, or Pro Evo or whatever else I was playing. That I was playing with that team, and so I'm sitting here listening to Gary Neville talk trash and rubbish and Rio. These guys were just they've really lost a lot of credibility as pundits. I'm not expecting you to blast your mate and your homeboy. I'm not expecting you to just come out and say a friend of yours needs the axe. That's not what we expect from a pundit. What we expect is honesty. What we expect is for you to be, to be direct and call things as you see them, not sit there and openly admit that, you won't say certain things about a manager because he's your friend. That kind of stuff is just annoying. But if you've seen Paul Pogba acting like Harry Kane, this guy, Harry Kane has been, a few times I've watched him this season, he's been absolutely horrendous. He has been a passenger. Now watch him score a hat trick on Sunday because only our defense could provide such openness. I mean, we are wide open 24/7 FC. I'm talking 7-Eleven. I don't even know if you guys know what 7-Eleven is. You probably don't have it in Europe. I don't know what to think about or what kind of grocery store or what kind of convenience store that you have open that's 24/7. But right now, that's Manchester United's back line. Wide open for business. Come on in, right? And if I think I'm about to stop you, come on over to that right side where we're hanging to the left. Because if I need to, I'll be the captain of Manchester United and I'll hug somebody and move them out the way so you can score. Listen, it's happened before. It could happen again this weekend. Guys, listen, we don't know what to expect out of United. We really don't. The only thing you can expect out of United over the last few years is inconsistency. The one thing that you can, I mean, you don't have to be Nostradamus to prophesy the fact that Manchester United will win games and then lose games and be streaky, because we've been that way under this management setup. The only thing that feels different now is that the players have always been really behind Ole, and now there's a few bigger personalities who are speaking out who I don't think are really, they don't have the manager's back as a manager the way that they have before. And this could create a problem for our team. It doesn't feel the same at our club right now. It feels a little more Jose-ish, if I got to be honest with you. You know, before we complained about the stuff we saw on the pitch, right? You know, bad tactical decisions, favoritism and not playing certain players. You know, you have the whole won't make a substitution, and when they do, it's typically the wrong substitution. We've had all that, but it just, I don't know about you. Let me know how you think if you're a United fan. It feels different right now. So what to expect coming into this game against the Spurs? Like I said, the Spurs should be a great matchup for Ole right now because they are a complete mess. However, they still have who expressions calls, what does he call him, Son Young Messi? I mean, they got Sonaldo, Son Perignon. What does he call this guy? They have Heung-min Son, who is capable of turning a game on its head. And the guy is a phenomenal footballer. He is absolutely a flopper as well. He can flop with the best of them. He's gotten players sent off by acting like he was punched in the mouth and he barely got touched. You know, I've watched him slide into people dirty, frustrated. Son can also do the dark arts, and he's got you guys convinced that he doesn't even mean to do it. But I don't buy that for it all. But I think Son is an immaculate footballer. Right now for this season, let me pull up real quick some of Son's stats. Son is he's on 12 games, 4 goals, 2 assists. You know, but there's no doubting the guy is productive. Let's look at Spurs right now. Spurs under Nuno typically have been setting up, from what I've researched, in more of a 4-2-3-1. When you look at the players they have that are danger men, obviously you have to look at Harry Kane. But like I said, Harry Kane, you know, he decides to play when he wants to play. I'm sure because it's United, he's going to want to turn up. But if you look across that front line, you have Son, who I've mentioned already, amazing footballer. You don't want to leave Son any space whatsoever. The thing that scares me to death is that he will, you know, Son will get out on the break against Harry Maguire and we're in trouble. You better hope Rafael Varane is back. Then you have a guy who I wanted at United, and I think he burns hot and cold. I haven't watched him as much now that he's with Spurs, but Ndombele on the ball is a immaculate footballer. He is an amazing, the guy's a baller. You can say what you want. Ndombele is a straight up man with the ball at his feet. When he can run at people, if you give him any space, he is a great footballer. I think where he struggles is off the ball, and especially I'm not sure he even likes to play defense. I'm not sure. I'm just going by some of the games I've seen. If you're a Spurs fan, you can let me know what you think about him. I think he's a great player. Then you have Lucas Moura, who is extremely rapid. He is a fast guy. He's a guy that can get behind and cause problems as well. And so overall, Spurs have a strong attacking threat, but they have a very pragmatic manager. I don't know if Nuno's changed much being with them, but Nuno typically is very pragmatic, very similar to Ole. And anytime Ole has had to play against managers who are tactically, they tactically are aware of how to set up defensively and hit on the break. United have typically struggled against teams like that. This is why Wolves have given us problems under Nuno over the last few years. This is why, for whatever reason, not for whatever reason, I just told you the reason, why we can't seem to beat Arsenal under this manager, because, you have a Super Gucci down there at Arsenal. He loves to set them up defensively. And if a team sits up in the low block defensively, we have struggled traditionally over the last 2.5 seasons with breaking them down. And so here's the thing, guys. I mean, Even in the midfield, let's look at it. If we're going heads up in the midfield, who do they have? They have Hoiberg. He's better than Scott for sure. And they have this, what is the young guy's name they're playing a lot in there now? Skip, maybe? I haven't seen enough of him to say where he rates. But you don't have to be too great to be better than Manchester United's two in midfield. You just don't. And so there you have it. Also, Hugo Lloris. With him, it seems like I've never been overly impressed with him. I think some people rate him way too highly, but what's in front of him? You have Eric Dyer. Is that who they'll put in front of him? I know they just signed someone this summer, who Romero. And then you have their wingers. Oh, not their wingers. They don't play a wingback system. They'll play forward to back. So their left and right back will be, I don't even know who plays right back. Left back will be Reguilon, right? And so the Spurs have a lot of attacking options, a lot of options going forward. How they set up, how they'll set up against us, I don't know. This game, let me know what you think. This game literally could have 0-0 written all over it because neither team are even, both managers are scared to death of losing their jobs. So I don't know what you guys think is going to happen. But for me, ultimately, at the end, I'll give my prediction. But here's the thing that I don't want to see tomorrow. I've heard so many United fans saying that we have to make changes. Ollie's going to make changes. I swear down. I bet outside of Pogba, because Pogba's out, right? He's out. Pogba two-footed someone. You know what's amazing about that? Some of you guys have the audacity to go in on Pogba for a dumb challenge, or for a stupid tackle, for a reckless challenge, and say this and that about Paul Pogba as if, he really meant to do it. He wanted to. Well, you know what? Many of you that complained about that, you should celebrate that. The only reason you're not celebrating it is because many of people that hate that Pogba did that are secretly or even openly still pro-Ollie for whatever reason. At this point, if you're Ollie in, now you don't have to be Ollie out and abusive with it, but if you're straight up Ollie in because you think he's going to turn this around, or you still think he's the second coming of Sir Alex Ferguson, a couple things you need to understand. One, that's a delusional place to be living right now, because it's not that Ollie just now didn't figure things out. We've seen the same things for 2.5 years. I literally did a video yesterday. I listed the games for you. I told you, I went through years of this same situation, right? So this is nothing brand new. So if you're still on the Ollie train, listen, I gotta say this. I respect your loyalty. If you are still majorly Ollie in, right? If you're of age, I hope you're married, and you need to let your spouse watch one of my videos so I can let them know how just amazingly lucky they are to have someone like you that can seemingly almost be cheated on, beat on, lied to, smiled at, all this. I mean, literally walk through hell and still be faithful. You are, listen, I got time for it. I got time for it. But that's just not me. I've seen the writing on the wall with Ollie for a while now. So listen, if you're new around here, like, subscribe, get involved. Listen, what do you think about the game this weekend? Who do you think's going to win? What are your predictions? How do you see this game planning out? Is this, if we lose, is this the last game for Ollie? What do you think? Real quick, let me go to the comments. Real quick, yes, Usman, my guy. As always, Eddie, good to see you, sir. Smash a like. Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. Thanks for stopping by. Guys, listen. Lamar, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I hope everything is, oh, my goodness. That is Lamar DePrince III. Bro, don't make me send you a link, fam. You should be up in these videos. I don't know what you're doing just stopping by. I hope you're still making them Rev specials just for me. Anyway, that's a topic for another day. That's a topic for another day. Good to see you, my friend. Long time, bro. Long time. Hold it down up there in the Northeast. Good to see you. Tragic, good to see you, sir. Good to have you in the building. But listen, guys, what do you think? What is the deal? What do you think? Is this Ollie's last hurrah if he loses? I personally don't see him going anywhere. I don't think that they fire him if we lose 7-0. I mean, if you can straight up lose, if you can drop 5 against Liverpool like that and then have them take the foot off the gas and slap us the way they did, for real, I don't see my man going anywhere. I've said it before, but here's the thing. Like I said, I respect anybody's opinion, right? So if you still think Ole's the manager, there really isn't there's no on-pitch evidence whatsoever to back up that claim. However, I got love and respect for the faithful folk. And like I said, you need to tell your spouse what's up. Tell your spouse, look, I'm what you need. Why am I what you need? Because I will literally take beatings and stay faithful. Listen, that's the way I feel right now. Because my guy, listen, Ole has made me suffer. Ole has made me suffer, fam. I'm not lying. Yo, I've been hurt. I've been hurt for years. Listen, 2 years ago, right before lockdown, that loss to Burnley, that thing hurt, right? That's when I was like, nah, this ain't me. This ain't it. This ain't it. I'm not going to be vocal. I'm not going to be screaming. Every stream I went on, people tell you this is how I've been. This is not reactionary. Last year, terrible. Over and over and over again. Listen, guys, I kept dealing with stuff last year that was just rough, man. Oh, so we have someone shouting Conte right now. So who would your replacements be? I see Conte. Playboy Yoshi saying, look, low key, I want us to lose. Listen, let me say this to you. I was talking to Usman about this earlier today, and shout out Usman Talks United if you're not following him. But guys, listen, I'm telling you, I'm not going to sit here and say I want us to lose, right? Because I'm so petty about losing, I don't think I could say that. But let me be honest with you. I get the people that feel that way. And I'm not mad at you. I am not mad at you whatsoever. I'm not going to sit here and say you're a fake fan. You ain't a real fan. Real fans always want us to win. Man, no, listen. When you love a club the way many of us love United, right? And you've been beat down this long and been watching this stuff over and over and over again, if you feel like the only power that you can see that could create a different situation will be to get the manager out, and the only way that's going to happen is to lose and to lose and to lose. So I feel you. I feel where you're at, and I'm not mad. Yoshi, you are welcome here with that type of sentiment. I could even sit here and say, I want us to lose. I could say that, but when the game starts, I'm going to be straight honest with you. If we lose, I'm going to be salty. I'm going to be mad just because I hate losing. But, losing, if it gets rid of Ole, in my opinion, right, if it gets rid of Ole, if getting Ole out the door and a better manager in now is better for Manchester United. That's my opinion, right? That's just, I'm not Jesus, right? I'm not Jesus's first cousin. I'm not saying I have it all right. I'm just saying that's how I view it. So Tragic says real quick in the comments, 3-2 for Man U. Just when you, bro, let me tell you. First off, I get this totally on every level. Because when you have all these slips out your hand like a rainbow trout, because you said rainbow, lets me know you probably went fishing before. I'm from the Northeast. I know the limit in my state of trout is 5, right? I know because I like to fish. That's how I get down, right? And right now I live off the Gulf of Mexico. We catch speckled trout down here. But listen, what Tragic is saying is flat out true. This is why, for you that are Americans, you'll get this. For you that aren't, you won't. I've always called Ole man like Tidy Cats, because Tidy Cats, right? It's a brand of kitty litter we have here in the States. Ole has 9 lives. Why are we still having this discussion? This is what people don't get. Oh, y'all reactionary. We ain't reactionary. Last year, we were having the same discussion that Ole's about to get sacked. The year before, the same discussion. Ole's about to go. He should go. And what happens? Every time we go on a run. Every time he saves himself. And it wouldn't shock me if he did it again whatsoever. That's like what Tragic said. Look, it would be tragic if we won 3 on the bounce, because he's not going anywhere. But as Tragic said, listen, this guy always bounces back. Always bounces back. I wish Ole had to deal with bro. Listen. I want to talk about that in just a minute. Let me get down through these comments. Ten Hag is a good shout, absolutely. short-term loss for long-term gain. I am 100% in understanding of that. Uh, my guy says, I never want us to lose. I feel you. Yeah. I used to fish on the East Coast, Virginia, Maryland. Yeah, I'm actually, myself and Lamar are actually from outside of D.C. in the Eastern Panhandle, West Virginia. So that whole area, we're all about that life. We know all about it. Matter of fact, this gentleman right here, he could cook it up for you real good. He knows what to do. You feel me? Listen, I don't know if you could find a way to add that to your food truck, though, bro. I don't know if you could find a way. I'm sure you could make it happen. Maybe a Saturday special, that rainbow trout a la carte. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it would be hitting, I'm sure, especially if you keep it East Coast and keep that Old Bay rocking. You know what I mean? Keep that Old Bay rocking. Listen, guys, man. Here's the thing. Yeah, sure enough, you know how we do it. Listen, I get what you're saying, and the comment about Stephen A. Smith. Some of you that watch this, maybe you're from Europe and you'll watch this and you don't know that reference. Stephen A. Smith is a pundit here in the United States. He used to do a show with a guy named Skip Bayless. Between the two of them, they used to crack me up because they would intentionally take opposite viewpoints, right? Just for money, for the effect, for money, because they want to be as controversial as they can, because if they are, they get more ratings, more money. Stephen A. Smith is on this guy is on athletes' money, right? And he's just a talking head on ESPN. Stephen A. Smith would roast Ollie. Listen, Jose Mourinho was dead right when he said he wished he had friends in the media the way Ollie does. If you watched that press conference today, it was shameful. It was shameful. The way it was like the club handed most of those guys questions on how to ask Ollie. It was a joke. They didn't go at him hard at all about anything. It really, really blew my mind. It blew my mind how I forgot Andy Mitten. Andy Mitten, he has to be getting paid by the club. He has to be. The way in which he framed his questions. And then the one guy, I can't remember who it was, that asked about Ollie comparing where Ollie's at to Sir Alex. Are you kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me? Sir Alex went through a similar dark period. Do you think you'll do the same thing and bounce back and be successful here? What do you think Ollie's going to say? No, I'm a scrub. No, I'm tactically inept. No, and what's he going to say? No, I'm not like Sir Alex. I actually relegated a team in this league. I actually coached in a team called Mode that actually has a standard less than the MLS. I did not deserve this job to begin with. My CV wasn't good enough to handle this job. Sir Alex Ferguson, sir, listen, not only did he break up the Celtic Rangers' dominance in their league, he was winning the European Cup with Aberdeen. I think that's a little different than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, come on. That's ridiculous that he gets this pass like he's the next Sir Alex. I'll tell you another thing Sir Alex did that Ole doesn't do, and it's why Ole's head's on the chopping block, because he doesn't replace his coaches. It's obvious that we are tactically inept, our coaching is terrible, and yet he won't replace them. He's not going to. Sir Alex freshened up his coaching staff all the time. Listen, this is a great question here. Do you think that Ole's going to stick with the same team? I absolutely hope that he does. He better. Real talk. He better. Don't shift up now. Listen, Slim, don't shift now. Don't all of a sudden decide now that you're going to try. For example, bro, I love Donnie Van de Beek. I don't need to see him. Donnie Van de Beek best not start. He best not start him. He better not start Donnie Van de Beek. He better not start Alex Telles. He better not start players that he could have been using. Lingardinho, he better not start these players that he could have been using all along, right? To now bring them in to try to get him a dub to save his job. Because Tony Martial, listen, Anthony Martial was saving Jose's job when Jose was doing him dirty. Pogba got Ole the job, right? Pogba saved Jose as well. Listen, I'm telling you right now, he better not switch up. Because here's the thing, what we've seen from Ole in a lot of ways, one of the reasons I've not rated him, I love the guy as the club as the player, right? I love what he did for the club. I love 99. I love the goal. I love a lot of the things that Ole did as a player, but I've always separated player from manager. They are not the same guy. They are not the same thing. But the thing that kills me about Ole is that this guy, the reason he is not a world-class top-level manager, I've tried to explain this to people over the last 2 years, but what do I know? I'm just some plastic yank from across the sea. I'm not a real fan, right? I already understand this. I've tried to explain the difference between winning mentality and losing mentality. Listen, as Herman Edwards said, you play to win the game. Ole loves to set up to not lose instead of play to win. That is not championship mentality. And for me, it's never been personal with Ole. It's always been, are you going to win the league for us? And I don't see it happening. So here's the thing. Oh, yeah, he's going to play Van de Bench tomorrow, trust. Matic will start, watch. Now, see, I'm not going to throw a fit about Matic starting because I think if Matic had more legs, Ole would play him more. But I really want to see Ole go out on his sword, right? Prove to all of us how dumb we are and keep playing your McFred. Just keep doing you, bro. Keep doing you. Keep letting Bruno Fernandes run all around the field like this is U12 and he's the superstar. You remember when your 10-year-old was playing? When my kid was 10, he was better than everybody on the pitch. It wasn't even close. And you know what he did? Ran everywhere. Corner flag to corner flag. Getting the ball, picking up the ball, winning tackles, scoring goals, doing everything. Bruno plays like that. No positional discipline. And it's not because Bruno doesn't know better. Bruno in Italy played as a 6, and he also played as an 8. In Portugal, you don't see him running all over the place like that. It's what he's allowed to do and how he's coached. So when he's coached that way, it allows him to leave a bare, terrible midfield wide open. You got Fred and McPassion, and you expect them to shield them back four. Come on, man. Stop playing. This is facts right here. It's survival football for Ole. He'll pick those he trusts. Listen, that's what I'm saying. Mr. Boba, real talk. That's what I'm saying. I would respect Ole more if he did that, but it would not shock me if he changes. It would not shock me because I don't – listen, I feel like this guy, Ole, has mentally – he's not got it as a top-level manager when it comes to decision-making. Someone asked me one time, what could have Ole done last year to bring you back to the good side? There was one decision he could have made that I would have never shouted for him to go again, and it was in the Europa League final. If he would have pulled De Gea and put Dean Henderson in for the penalty kicks, which everyone was calling for, that would have been a huge call, a championship-level decision. If he did it and we lost, I still would have clapped. Because David De Gea, until this season, hadn't saved a penalty for like 6 years or 7 years. That's the type of decision. People can say what they want about championship mentality coaches. I used to give Poch a hard time because I really like Pochettino, but I used to think that mentally he had to make some changes. But I was watching the game this year, and he shut me up, so I'm not saying nothing. Now, I don't think anyone can coach the divas that is PSG. And I don't think PSG will win the Champions League no matter who they have. Maybe Zidane. Maybe Zidane. But anybody else besides that, they're not winning the Champions League. Liga, yes, they will most likely win it, and they'll win some cups. But you got to figure their players play when they want to. They take breaks. They go back to Brazil and hang out with their sister doing God knows what. It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Neymar's sister is bad, but I mean, it's just right. That'll be sketchy, bro. That's not how we function around here. But anyway, guys, listen. I don't understand how people don't realize making big decisions makes you great or makes you doesn't. I had to shut up and give Poch mad respect when he benched Messi this year. I don't know if you remember that game, if you saw it, but the PSG was down, needing a goal, and this guy subbed off Messi to make a tactical change. He subbed off Messi to bring in Hakimi, a right back for a 10. That's something we don't see in Manchester United ever. And listen, I was like, yo, Poch is crazy. How you going to sub off Messi, fam? You lose, I would sack you. And they won. But anyway, topic for a different day. We got people that want Conte. I've seen Ten Hag. I see what do we do? What are we going to do with Pogba? Listen, Pogba's the GOAT, man. Don't get me started on Labile. Don't get me started. He's never been played correctly almost the whole time he's been there. He's been fighting with Jose because Jose is a bigger personality and couldn't deal with the guy. And we got to be real too. Paul Pogba has been way too injury prone. He's one of my favorite players. But one of the things that's hurt Pogba the most at United, honestly, has been injuries. And for all these guys saying, "Oh, I can't believe he went in and made that tackle," bro, have you ever been getting beat by your rivals? Some of these top reds, these play for the badge, kiss the badge, run and slide and fight guys. You should have been celebrating Pogba. Why? We was down 5-0. The guy had enough, and he two-footed somebody. I'm going to tell you right now, if Roy Keane made that tackle, you guys would have been singing his name, doing backflips outside, talking about, "That's my captain. That's my captain." But Paul does it with a smirk on his face, and, well, he's just trying to get the manager sacked. You guys know you know who you are, and you know who I'm talking to. And some of you know why you feel the way that you do. If the guy was British and he wasn't so melanated, he wouldn't get nearly the hate he does. And if you don't believe that, then you know what? I've got some oceanfront property all the way out in South Dakota. I'll sell you real cheap. Real cheap. He's going to play, bro, listen, don't do it. Tragic. Don't do it. He better not play this guy. He better not play Donnie. I love Donnie. Donnie's a baller. The last 3 games I've seen Donnie, he was man of the match, in my opinion. The only time, he made a rash challenge against West Ham, but he's trying to prove stuff to people, right? He's constantly holding bitch. People are like, I want to see he's aggressive. I want to see he's got bite. I want to see he's got tackle. My man goes, hits the gym. You know what Donnie needs to do? Donnie needs, for a lot of these guys to rate him, he needs to go over to Germany, get on some of that German juice. I mean, weight room, Alfonso Davies weight room stuff, where Goretzka chewing on that special chewing grub. You seen Goretzka? My man went from being like Pee Wee Herman to the Terminator just by switching clubs. I don't know what they put. I don't know what they sprinkle on that bratwurst over there at Bayern and that sauerkraut. But I can promise you, fam, I need some of it because I'm getting old, and it might shrink me right up. Donnie Van de Beek better be on the bench. Don't go soft, Ollie. Don't get weak on me now. Don't do that. So, guys, real quick, what do you think is going to happen? Real quick, if you could, get your predictions in the comments right now for the game tomorrow. As for breaking down Spurs, listen, the Spurs have been fairly toothless. Harry Kane is down in more tools. That I'm gonna start calling him Harry DeWalt. Because that guy's down in tools, man. He's not in it. Son Young Min, Son Young. Yeah, Son Young Min. Yeah. In Korea, it's always surname first. So Son is going to be doing Son things. He's a baller. You have, like I said, Lucas Moura, midfield, Højbjerg and Skip. Guys, this game for me is, I'd like to say it's a 0-0, just because it just feels that way. It feels like one of those games where it could go any kind of way. You really never know what could happen in a game like this, where typically, really anybody anyone could come out on top. Let me ask you a question. Would any result surprise you? I mean, really. I mean, to be honest with you, the way we're playing, a United slapping Spurs would shock me, because Spurs aren't going to come out with Nuno as their coach. They're not going to come out and play open. So I don't see us slapping them. Will we win? I personally think, because, as I said earlier, Ole always gets these results to keep making our lives miserable, those that feel like he needs to go. Because here's the thing. It's getting to the point where I'm feeling like I'm starting to disrespect the guy. And I always want to respect him as someone who played for the club, as a cult legend, a cult hero, because that's what he is. For me, as a United player, he's not even a top 10 player for me. So for me to say he's a legend, the way I had someone get mad at me the other day saying, "Oh, he's a legend. He's got a banner in the crowd." I've been to the stadium. I've seen the banner. I'm not talking about the banner. He scored a legendary, iconic goal. But it really bugs me, even this legend of Ole that's grown more as manager, where we've made it seem like he won the 99 final himself. The guy was a super sub the majority of his career. He came in that game, right? Let me tell you this way. Without Roy Keane, we're not even in that final. Period. Without Yorkie and Cole, we're not even in the final. And if it's not for David Beckham putting in 2 crosses, we don't win. right? So I hate when people talk about that game as if Ollie was the only one that did anything in the game, and they'll say, like, "Well, Ollie won it." Theoretically, I guess Ollie did win it, but I mean, he didn't win it himself. He stuck his foot out in front of the goal. At the end of the day, that's kind of how it goes. So let me get some of your comments real quick. Um, you know, I don't know who we're. Oh, Bruno Fernandez. Yeah. This is facts here. We're just doing a little bit. Bruno plays too shallow, like a second forward. Yeah, many times Bruno will press the other team's goalkeeper all by himself, and it leaves our midfield so exposed. Doesn't keep a shape. Facts. Loses the ball way too easily. Yeah, many times trying crazy passes, and Bruno will even admit it. It is what it is. And I love Bruno. We're not bashing him. It's just calling it what it is. You have to know what Bruno's good at and what you're willing to tolerate, what you're not. There's an agenda against Paul. Yeah. The way I see it is that Paul Pogba also is like, look, fam, you're going to bench me for freaking Scott McPassion. Then guess what? If I'm going to have to sit here and watch this, I might as well take a few games off. You feel me? I might as well be off heading to this international break. Deuces. But no, I think he just lost his head and was mad. He actually won the ball, went over it. As a matter of fact, in that game, if you watch it back, Bruno Fernandez should have had a red card for a tackle. And Ronaldo could have had a red card for his petulant kick out. And you can say, well, he was kicking the ball. Yeah, he was kicking the ball, but come on, fam. Everyone knew what he was doing. Everyone knew what he was doing. Yoshi's going 2-1 United. Ronaldo to save Ollie again. Close chest type 2-1 United. Favorite saving him. We got a 3-1 to Spurs. I know there's a lot of United fans that would love that result right now. So he looked fed up to me making that play against some. Yeah, I'm with you on that. And so the thing that really gets me is when people act like, oh, he was smirking on the way off. The fact is, man, a lot of people react to stressful situations way different. I mean, if I'm going to just look at faces when things are stressful, acting silly, don't make me record Ole Gunnar Solskjaer when he does come out on the sideline. Because two or three games ago, my man was looking at Scott McTominay giving him the lizard tongue, bro. He's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing? Bro, it's unnecessary. It is unnecessary. So, listen, let's keep going. I'm sure he's fed up. Team needs him. Yeah, team needs Jesse was upset. Paul got sent off. Because, the Paul Pogba was a dominant figure in that locker room. There's no doubt. No doubt at all. You got to fight to the end. Guys, listen, and that's the thing. The thing that's made me feel a little different this time around with Ole is I feel like that the team has shifted a little bit. I don't think that everyone is playing for him as much as they did before. And I think his alleged man management skills have been great. Really grossly overrated, especially look how he's treated players he don't like, like the Donny Van de Beeks and people like that. I don't think that Ollie is – I don't think he's nearly as soft or as fair as people think that he is. I just don't think he's a top-level manager. You cannot manage the biggest club in the world and get us back to where we need to be and not be a top-level manager. And I hear what you're saying when these guys say, well, we brought in Jose. We brought in LVG. Those were – all-time great managers, yeah, but they were past it. Everyone knew they were past it. Jose, there was an argument to be had that he wasn't past it. But if you remember, even at Real Madrid, Jose was a guy players ran through brick walls for and loved. At Real Madrid, he shifted, everything shifted. The players turned on him, revolted, and they broke that man. That locker room broke that man. He wasn't the same since. He wasn't as open with his players. He's more shady. You saw him in the Offer One documentary with Spurs. Look how he treated Danny Rose. I mean, listen, don't get me started on Jose. The Jose we got was not the Jose knee sliding on our pitch. Yeah, I remember that too. The Jose we got was the guy who was past it and had the audacity after we lost the Champions League game to sit there and mug all of us off by saying, oh, well, Manchester United should be used to losing at this part of the Champions League. Bro, watch your mouth, son. I mean, he should have went right then. We didn't get that Jose, right? At the end of the day, we have to have a different style of coach. Let's see what we got going on here. Luke Shaw, Henry Maguire playing off for the season. He doesn't. No, he doesn't, bro. He is not, bro. No. No, we better younger players. Absolutely. And this is football heritage. Bro, Jalal comes in and just drops a bomb on the discussion. Boom with the football heritage. Because that's what it is, right? That's what it is right here. Madrid fan. Jose, you got was not it. That's a fact, bro. We did not get the Jose people thought we were getting. You know, that football heritage comment took me out, because that's what a lot of these people think that we are now. That see, this is the problem. Jalal straight on. He's like, look, man, we got a lot of people who think that this United team is the United team of old. We're not. That's why, like, let's be honest. We right now, I assume almost everyone that's in here is a United fan. So let's be honest. We are not. We are rivals right now of Spurs. We're rivals of Leicester City. We're rivals of Everton. We're rivals of that level club, West Ham. Right now, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, we are not their rivals right now. And we haven't been for a few years. Why? One of the reasons is because of how we're managed, who owns our club, the management, the coaches. We're not on that level. We've got players to be on that level, but we don't win anything. Liverpool and them have won the league. They're winning trophies. Chelsea's won the Champions League. Manchester City, long may they never win the Champions League, but they win the league. They win things. We haven't won anything under this manager for almost 3 seasons. And people are talking about trust the process, giving time. This is why so many people want United to lose. I cannot believe it's come to that. And I'm not going to sit here and say you're a fake fan, because you're not. The fact is you're just sick and tired of it. You're hurt. You're hurt. And you want it over. Right? Remember, rest in peace, my guy Claude from Arsenal Fan TV. Remember, he said he's got to go. He's got to go. It was a DT. Was a DT that was like, "Oh, make it end, Robert." All crying about it, right? Come on, man. Come on. Jose won trophies. Absolutely. Jose won. And people still think that Ole is better than Jose. Bro, it's not. This is how bad it is out here in these streets. They'll tell you that it's better under Ole than it was under Jose. When the fan base is toxic, it's just as divided, if not more now, because at least under Jose, I don't remember being called fake and all that kind of stuff. We actually won trophies. Bro, Jalal come in to take me out today. I mean, I didn't even have too much longer to stream, but man, he's killing me. We won the away record trophy. Absolutely. Absolutely, we won it. And guess what? That's why we could win tomorrow, because we're strong on the road. Old Trafford, we've turned into Mold Trafford, or just flat old, because we don't defend home, but we had this away record, because apparently that's a good thing. Last year, we had 9 0-0s? We had that away record. But here's the thing a lot of people don't know. City had more points on the road last season than United did, and they didn't go unbeaten on the road. So what would you rather have? Let's take those 9 0-0s. Those 9 0-0s are a perfect example of why Ole is not the guy for United, and people can't see it, right? People say, well, we're tough to beat, because we're not trying to win all of these games. You mean to tell me if you set up, what did Sir Alex Ferguson do? You score 3, we'll score 4. That wasn't the way we were coached last season. Very pragmatic. So people would say we have no style of play. No, this year, I agree with that. Our style of play is whack. Last year, we absolutely had a style of play. We sat back, kept it tight, tried to win the ball in the midfield, and hit people on the counter, on the break. We were a defensive team. Remember? This youth courage success didn't have any of that. But anyway, we were defensive. I don't care what anyone says. We set up defensive. These clowns that call Antonio Conte defensive, but yet defend Ole, make me, I literally can't stand myself. Because just because you play 3 at the back doesn't mean that you play defensive. It's about your mindset and style, right? Antonio Conte is get the ball, win it back, be solid, be organized, try to shoot within 5 to 7 passes, right? He's more of a rock and roll Jurgen Klopp style coach, right? That's how he thinks. Guys, listen, this kills me with this whole idea of, 9 0-0s. Let's do the maths, because the maths ain't mathing around here. That's 9 points. If you won 4 of those games and lost 5, That's 12. That's more points. If we say we played out our skin and we won 6 of those games and lost 3 of those nil-nils, we are in a title race. It's a mentality thing. And the thing that's always frustrated me with our club under this manager is that he knows better. And I know he could do better. He just won't because he's too scared to lose his job because it's his dream job, you know. And yeah, this people don't want to hear this, but this is fact. Jose won stuff even with a worse squad, you know. I come on, yeah, man. I'll get you on, bro. I'll get you on, no problem, no problem. Ole was obsessed with that away record, even though it was an empty stadium. Yeah, bro. Listen, empty stadiums, right? COVID had everyone jacked up. You had Chelsea. If they would have gotten rid of Frank Lampard sooner, they would have finished ahead of us. Liverpool was literally playing with people from the academy almost the entire season, and they would have been ahead of us. People don't take context. Listen, bro, context don't matter to people. Bubba Django, listen, context doesn't matter to these fans. It doesn't matter what context is because that's what you're speaking there is sense, and a lot of people don't have sense. Exactly, Jalal. You're echoing exactly what Mr. Bubba Django was saying, and again, that's too much sense for the average fan because the average fan wants to tell you, well, look where we finished. We finished 7th, then 3rd. Then second, that's progression. Come on, man. Okay. Not considering context. Even the year before we finished 3rd, that 3rd, we fluked it. Most people had, okay, I had to do a video after when the Burnley loss happened. I turned kind of anti-Ole. Not anti-Ole, but I'm saying I was like, okay, I'm done with this guy, right? So I was on a stream with somebody, and we were talking about this whole situation, and they said, we're finishing top 4. No one thought we were finishing top 4. I said, if we finish top 4, I will jump into a pool with my clothes on singing Ollie's at the Wheel, and I will record it, and I did it. And the reason, and that's Bruno Fernandez's fault, because before lockdown, we were off the pace. We were done for. Ollie should have been sacked, but Bruno come in and saved his job, if you remember. Fans were so mad about how bad we were playing, they were Molotov cocktailing Ed Woodward's house. Ed Woodward went and got that checkbook outside Bruno. Bruno came in, hit the ground running. The best debut short purple patch I've ever seen of a player come into a team. Changed the whole atmosphere. We went all the way up. And if you remember the last day of the season, it was a battle between us, Chelsea, and Leicester. Someone was getting 3rd, someone was getting 4th, someone was getting 5th. It was that tight. We could have finished 5th that year. We forget all about that. We look at the final result. Last year, 2nd was an aberration. And don't get me wrong, none of those seasons under Ollie have we been in a real title race after Christmas. Too far after Christmas. Last year, we were in it for a while, and we were all getting gassed. 21 and 21 is written in the stars, and we absolutely fell apart. I mean, we were losing the teams last year from Turkey that got relegated from Turkey. Fam, come on, man. Come on. And this is true. This is true. This is true. And so this is why, like, you know, I know a lot of you want Conte, some of you want Ten Hag. At that time, this time last year, I was 100% for Poch. And I did like a 40-minute video on why I preferred Pochettino. Now, Poch is not my first choice. So don't get me wrong. Anybody that doesn't think that Pochettino is a better manager than Ole, you got your head under a rock somewhere. But still, you know, now going to PSG, he's pretty much damaged goods. But most of you are predicting a win. You know, I've seen most people predicting a win for this weekend. You know, Nuno's job might be on the line. You know, I was actually waiting for a Spurs fan. I don't think he's going to make it. I think actually he's still streaming. He's been on a long time as well. He asked me to come on. I missed the invite too late, so I sent him one. I'm still waiting. Hopefully he'll jump on before we go and tell me a little bit about his club, what he thinks. Because right now, listen, there's a lot of Spurs fans. Their dream is to get Poch back. I'm like, why would Poch ever go back? He's not going back there. I don't know why he ever would go back there. That thing, people are like, well, Poch never won anything here. Well, I mean, no one wins with Spurs, right? So that's a surprise. You know what I mean? It's crazy. El Sackico. Yeah, that's what I think I titled it, right? Or I put it in the comments. I've been hearing it called El Sackico. Do you guys think that this game will determine the outcomes? I mean, would um, this is flat out the truth. When you play three at the back, it doesn't mean it's defensive. Actually, it can be very offensive with the wingbacks switching forward to provide the width. Absolutely true. Listen, matter of fact, I watched an interesting discussion about this. Actually, I didn't watch it. I listened to it on a show we have here in America on what's called Sirius XM. We have something called XMFC, which is a football channel. And they have a show on there called the Coaching Academy. And I was listening to an Italian coach come and describe how the Italian game has evolved in the last 10 years to become very much more offensive, and that the three at the back is typically used more as an offensive setup now than it is a defensive setup. But of course, people are they have in their mind what they think things is, and it is what it is. So, man, listen, imagine we beat Spurs. Spurs had Nuno get Conte. Here's the thing. I think Conte already turned them down, though. I think that he turned them down. And what I've read is that Daniel Levy is willing to go back in for Conte and basically say, okay, what I said I wouldn't do, I changed my mind. But Conte would be dumb to believe Daniel Levy because, as I said at the beginning of the video, you don't mess with Levy. Levy's a gangster, bro. Harry Kane thought he was coming in, being Billy Big Shot, rolling in, doing his thing. And by the way, guys, I don't know if you caught the beginning of the video, but real quick in the comments, you guys know I'm not lying about this. What would be the result in the media and the fan base if Paul Pogba was downing tools the way that Harry Kane has? Harry Kane, I've watched him in games this season. He is so disinterested. Maybe he'll step up this weekend. I don't know. But listen, here we go. There's a Pep video. He talked about the Tuchel system. He admired that system. Yeah. And Pep, as much as I can't stand him, Pep knows ball. It is what it is. I think that Conte's style of play is definitely different than Pep's. Pep's more of a tiki-taka guy, wants to keep the ball forever. He reminds me of more of he's like a better modern day advanced Louis Van Gaal. Because if you remember Louis Van Gaal when he was at United, some of the football was boring, so to speak. But man, we kept the ball. Man, we would just bop people off the pitch. The problem is we wouldn't finish our chances. We didn't create enough chances. But man, there was plenty of games we had 60, 65%, even against the top teams. And if the other team doesn't have the ball for that much of the game, it's very hard for them to beat you unless you make a mistake and give up the counter attack, which that's how we were beating people last year. And so if you AC Milan made Italy, yeah, absolutely. Before them used to be a goal score, yeah, absolutely. And AC Milan actually was one of the top teams in the world when I first got heavy into the game. One of my best friends at the time in university, he was an Italian guy. And see, my ancestry is half Italian as well. So we were, he was basically telling me in no other terms, he was saying I was a disgrace to my heritage because I didn't really watch football a lot. So he got me into it, right? He was a huge Milan fan. And let me tell you what, my favorite player overall because of United has been CR7, right? He's been my favorite player. But if I had to be honest, if I had to take United out of it, kind of my GOAT and my all-time guy that really was my dude was Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho was just right. He was that guy, bro. I remember the Joga Benito commercials. Man, Ronaldinho was he was different. He was different. The guy was different. And that's the thing about, I know Neymar doesn't play hardly any. He plays when he wants to. He goes like last year, I think when Poch got there, Neymar gave him like 40% of the remaining games Neymar actually played. But when Neymar plays and he's about that life, Neymar will take your ankles and ruin them. Neymar reminds me of those old time players that just don't play. He's a savage, it is what it is. Ultimately, guys, I think that we're going to win 2-1 tomorrow. I got the sneaking suspicion. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you this. What I can't have happen is I can't have United win 3 on the bounce and then this team just decide they're going to keep OLE. That is a worst case scenario because if I saw a poll on football Twitter about should OLE stay or go, it had over 2,000 votes and it was like 83% sack. You would have never seen that even 6 months ago. Never. The fan base, for the most part, has turned. Even those that were just so blindly loyal, they have seen the light. And even those that will still back Ollie, they know that he's just not cut out for it. But the fact is, some people are just too stubborn to ever admit they were wrong to begin with. I always approached it this way. I want to be wrong. I don't want to be right. I didn't want to be right 2 years ago. I told people 2 years ago I don't see us winning anything on this manager. But every year at the beginning of the season, I said, listen, this could be the year. We're going to win. We're going to win a cup. We're going to win a cup. And last year, I was convinced that we would win that Mickey Mouse Europa League Cup. And to go to the final and not just lose, but lose the way that we did, to literally make, to make no subs until the 100th minute of a final. Listen, I was done out here. There's no bringing me back. There just wasn't. Matter of fact, Ole could win everything. He could win the rest of his games for the rest of the season. We could win a treble, right? And I still wouldn't believe in the manager. I'm sorry. I've seen enough for 2.5 years. There would be some kind of miracle. I'm talking Jesus showed up at Carrington, sprinkled Ollie with holy water, and made it happen. Something happened, but not because we've turned it around and had good management or balance or the right midfield. You listen, the game of football is won and lost in the middle of the park, and you can't have a midfield that's not even top 12 in the league and expect to be a championship team. Like even Fred, right? I give Fred some business, but Fred is a salvageable baller. Fred does all right for Brazil, and there's a reason because he's playing beside Fabinho, and they play Fred for what he is. If you played Fred in a 3 and let Fred do what Fred does well, Fred is a serviceable player. I still think Fred will be a bench player at United. Now, his partner, listen, if you guys follow me long enough, you already know where I feel on that level. That's just, anybody that would rather have McPassion than Fred, hey, that's your right. Real quick, Mr. Bubba Django says it's sad how the attention is not on winning the league trophies, but instead always prove it. Listen, bro, this is what people aren't seeing. It's not even about whether or not this is where the ultra Oleaners that people have labeled like Ole sexuals and people that really just back the guy no matter what. Because some people think that just backing the club no matter what, backing the manager no matter what, makes them some kind of like royal better fan. No, honestly, a lot of times it makes you deluded. It makes you a sheep, especially if you're still buying stuff, doing stuff with what the Glazers are doing to this club. And you're supporting a manager that they refuse to sack not because they believe in him, but because they hope they get top 4 and no more, and they're good. That's all they want. And as long as Ollie's there and people are in the ground singing his name, it takes the attention off the real leeches, the ones that live over here in America, and that one sitting up there in the box looking like a broke down Mr. Bean. But here's the thing, guys. This is exactly what the Glazers wanted, right? The fan base divided because they don't get it. People see the problem is when people are emotionally invested the way we are in our football club, a lot of times common sense goes out the window. So whenever you say anything against Ollie, then you're just some kind of hater, you're some kind of fake fan, you're whatever. But the truth is, like, let me use myself as an example. I can only speak for me because I know me, I know my heart, right? It was never anything personal against Ollie. I personally didn't think he should have got the job to begin with. But I never held that against him. I held that against the club. But once I saw this up and down stuff, good, bad, consistently inconsistent, purple patch, should be fired, wins 5 in a row. Last year, I actually called a 6-game winning streak or something like that on Rich Talk Sports. I called it, and we were losing. And everyone was like, nah. I said, I'm telling you, Rich, it started this weekend. We're going to win at least 6 on the bounce or something like that. And everyone made fun of me. Oh, this American's talking rubbish. This yank don't know what he's talking, all this kind of stuff. But guess what? We made that run. And then everyone was like, wow. Because we've seen this before with Ole. And if you let Ole keep the job to the end of the year, eventually we'll have some kind of good purple patch where we'll win some matches all in the bounce. And then everyone will say, see, I told you, he just needs more time. Ollie's at the wheel. And Sir Alex had a bad patch and all this kind of crap that they say and what they do to keep this guy in a job because he's so protected by a certain part of the fan base, by this club, and by the media. If the media treated Ollie the way they treated Jose, he'd have been gone last year. That is a fact. That is not even debatable. It's a fact. But this is exactly what's been going on with this club, is that people don't realize that some folks just don't back the manager because they want to be at the top and winning again. And we simply don't believe he's the guy to lead us there. And because I love the club more than I love Ollie, I'm willing to say whatever I need to try to get people to realize that if this guy isn't the one, he needs to be replaced. Let someone else build on what he's done. Because if you keep letting it get more toxic, you're going to let the guy hang himself. And he don't deserve that. I mean, some people say he does because he's been hurting him for years. Van Gaal influence on Pep, yeah, absolutely. Especially the positional play, how to control spaces. Yeah, that's why I was saying Pep is like a Van Gaal 2.0. I mean, Pep learned a lot from guys like Louis van Gaal in the Dutch way, out of that Cruyff system. Listen, by far, this is not even debatable. Van Gaal is the best coach post Alex. You cannot debate this if you know ball at all. This is exactly the truth. Right? The football was boring, yes. Yeah. But if he had the right players, there's an argument to be made there. But absolutely. Even Rooney said it. Best coach he ever had. Once you have an American accent and say soccer, all yeah, right? You know what's funny about that? I did a video early when I first started YouTube. I did a video about the soccer thing, right? I get a kick out of that because here's one thing that a lot of European people don't know with their arrogance, and they say football. Football is Spanish, right? It's Spanish. It's not even British. But the game of football was invented in a rugby club in London, right? It is a British game. It's an English game. The English invented the game, and when they invented it, the initial name for the game was soccer. Soccer is an English word. Americans didn't invent the word. We didn't say, hey, this sport, we shall call it soccer. We didn't invent the word. It's what it was already called when we learned about the sport. I don't care what someone calls it. It doesn't make you any less knowledgeable of the game, what you call it. Americans tend to call the game soccer because we have a game here called football that dominates our culture, that's really American throw ball, called the NFL, right? That dominates our culture. Football, European world football, is a subculture that has exploded in this nation and is going crazy here, right? We say football, but when I'm talking to an American, I never say football. I say soccer, right? It doesn't make me know anything less because I use a term. It cracks me up when people say soccer. I'm like, oh, get this guy off the air. He said soccer. Like, you don't even realize the word is something that the game was originally called. So don't at me about stuff like that. But you're flat out right, tragic. It cracks me up when people act that way over something so silly. I don't care what you call it. You know, I don't care if you call it rolly ball. I don't care as long as I know what you're talking about. Here you go, sir. I think you tried it. Yeah, facts. I'm just trying to teach. Listen, I'm just here to educate the masses, bruv. That's all I'm here for, right? I'm just here to let people know. The fact is, this sport is growing in America. It's got a strong growing in America. Listen, we've always been the best when it comes to women's football, right? Women's soccer. Because when I grew up, right, where I grew up, the sport of European football or soccer, so to speak, it was only played by girls. Boys didn't play it. Like, we played some, but it was more something we did in gym class, right? We played soccer in gym. It's not. We had to play where I grew up. It was baseball, basketball, and football. I played all three. I played basketball and football, basketball and baseball up into college at that level. And I tried to play football my junior and senior year of high school. Tried to sneak out twice. I played a little bit, but every time I was found out, my other coaches would throw a fit because they didn't want me to get hurt because I had some scholarship situations on the line. But anyway, I fell in love with the game. And, really toward the end of high school, fell in love with it. Like I said, I made some friends that loved it. My wife is Mexican American, so it's just one of those things, man. Once I fell in love and got hooked, I've been to Old Trafford, and it cracks me up when people say, "Well, you're not from here, you're not a real fan." Bro, listen, the last time I went to Old Trafford, it cost me more getting there and getting a ticket. Matter of fact, the first time I ever went, I got scammed. I bought a ticket online and got scammed. And thankfully the club hooked me up and they gave me great seats. That was actually during Van Hall's era. I seen LVG in person. Matter of fact, it was a cold night against Stoke. And it was an amazing experience. But at the end of the day, man, where you're from doesn't dictate whether or not how much you love this club or not. That's why I started this channel. It's for everybody. Yeah, I want people from Manchester and from Scotland and from London and from Ireland, but also from Dagon Punjab. I don't care. I want people from all over the world to have a place where they can come, have their voice heard, and your accent doesn't affect whether or not I think you know anything about the game or not. And again, there's a lot of English YouTubers that don't carry that arrogance at all. I mean, I go on some great channels and some great guys. I've been on quite a few channels. I've been a contributor. I am a contributor with Usman. For you guys that don't follow Usman, go over, look at Usman Talks United, sub there, follow Usman. I've done things on Saeed's channel. I've done streams with Saeed. I've done a lot with Rich Talk Sports. Love Rich. Rich is one of the first guys. I used to be a contributor on a fan channel called All for United. Different type of content over there, but with some very honest guys over there. Love that. I made the choice to kind of not be on that channel in the moment just because I don't have time to commit and they're very busy, and I felt like I was just kind of around. And if I only have time to be on a few channels, it's going to be with people I've gotten to be really close with. Where All for United, there's some great people over there. I think Timmy's still a part of that. If you don't know about the Wavy Baller Hub, go sub to Timmy. He's an American as well. Um, I've done a lot. I've met some great people, but there are some channels I haven't done some stuff with as much because of my stance on OLE. And so I've been on a few channels, some of which I've already just mentioned, that, whether it was on Twitter or in chat, I've kind of been, people try to put me in my place about OLE, and I don't have time for it. I'm not going to fight with people or argue about it. So I just felt it was best to step away because I'm not one to create drama. So how do you think of people wishing that we lose tomorrow to get rid of OLE? I hate to say it's not one of them. I don't have a problem with it. Like, I don't have a problem with it because the truth is, Usman asked me yesterday. He said you have to take a red pill or a blue pill. The red pill says that if we lose, we 100% move on from OLE. Blue says we win and OLE gets to stay for a while. What would you take? I would take the short-term pain. I would take the loss. And people will call me a fake fan. I'm saying I would take the loss. I didn't say necessarily I'm rooting for us to lose, because and I have no problem for people that do. And honestly, I get it. I don't know if I could just sit there and root for us to lose just because I'm too competitive and I get petty like that. I hate to lose to anybody. I'm just terrible. But the truth is, if we lose and we move on to a better manager, it's better for the club. So I get why people feel that way, and I don't have a problem with it at all. Like, seriously. So all fake fan, I was, and I've saw this from people I highly respect. Oh, I was raised, my father would slap me silly, or I was just raised better than that. Well, you know what it is. We all have different opinions. And around here, you're welcome to have yours, and we'll always be respected for it. And I just ask that people keep it respectful, because that's how we roll. But it's just frustrating when I get. Here's what I don't like, right? And I made a big post about it on Twitter today. If you're not following me, it's right there on football Twitter, about this arrogance of people that act like because someone feels like you, Jalal, that they're not a fan. That annoys me, because I just don't understand how people can think that way. Well, why don't you open your mind for a second and think rationally about why people feel that way? It's not hard to understand. If you don't get it, Let me explain it real slow so you get it. It's this. I think, right? Not, I'm just saying, this is how people think. If people want the team to lose, it's because they believe that the manager is damaging the club and we can't go any further with him. The only way to go forward in their mind is a new manager. The only way to get a new manager is for the new manager to get sacked because he's not resigning by losing a bunch of games in a row. Therefore, their rationality is I want us to lose so we can move on quickly. They're tired of being where they're at. I get it. It's not hard to understand. I don't understand. There you go. I explained it. It's not hard. And I have no problem when people feel that way. But anyway, guys, I think I've kept you long enough. I know I've waited long enough for my guest. I had a feeling he might not be able to make it today because a lot is going on. I got invited to jump into another stream real quick. I might have to do that before I jump off. Guys, thank you for all of you that tuned in to Worldwide Red Show. This is Sean. You know how we do. It's the Yank you love the love, or maybe you don't like it all. It's just how we roll. To all the guys, Tragic, Jalal, to my boy LeBrel, I see you, fam. For Mr. Boba, Usman was in here earlier as well. For all those that jumped in, if I didn't catch you, I apologize. You know, trying to make sure I grab everybody in the chat. Big up yourself. Thank you for joining in. Listen, for me, I think we're going 2-1 tomorrow. United win. Ollie's going to remain at the wheel driving a broke down bus because that's what we are right now, playing terrible football. And maybe Nuno gets the sack tomorrow because maybe Tottenham actually has more ambition than Manchester United. That would be a shame. Anyway, let me know in the comments where you're watching from, what's going on, what you think about the game. It's been Sean from World Red Show. Guys, you know how we do. I'm out, man. You guys take care until the next time.